The EFCC alleges that the former Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal made fraudulent cash withdrawals amounting to about 188 billion naira. Of course, this has continued to spark reactions. However, the party, that's the ADC, has accused the EFCC of selective prosecution, claiming the agency revives old cases against opposition politicians while ignoring allegations against ruling party members. The commission denies bias, stating it operates within its mandate and that corruption allegations deserve investigation regardless of party affiliation. The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria accuses the EFCC of abandoning its mandate and becoming a tool for President Tinubu's administration to crush the opposition. They are concerned that selective prosecution erodes public trust, undermining the fight against corruption and could damage Nigeria's democratic framework. Well, joining me to discuss this is George Ashiru. He's the Lagos State Chairman of the ADC. I also have Jide Johnson. He's a public affairs analyst. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for having me.
All right, let me start with you, George Ashiru. I mean, you are the chairman of the ADC in Lagos. With what we are seeing right now, Aminu Tambuwal, being picked up by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, former Governor Tuihedio to the same thing. Your party is saying that this is more of a political witch hunt. But some are also asking, could it just be maybe justice delayed but not denied?
Thank you very much. It reminds me so much about the ongoing investigations about Yahaya Bello, the former governor of one of the North Central states. I am still struggling to know where that is going, especially with the congratulatory messages coming from the executive branch on his birthday. So why would people not see this and come to the conclusion that this is a political witch hunt, where various governors have left offices and some, were supposed pending whatever they were supposed to have done when they had immunity. And then some, it was when they now started to be part of a coalition that the appropriate organs of government suddenly woke up and decided that it was worth investigating. So the question now remains, is it the coalition that made EFCC wake up to their responsibilities to the people investigating whatever they claim concerning these individuals? Or was it really just a matter of time? They were just waiting for the right time to do their jobs. This is what the people of Nigeria are saying. It's different from when we say it as political leaders. They might say, what are we supposed to say? But the average Nigerian can't see selective justice being meted out. The average Nigerian can see the unseen hand of powers that be in the prosecution of some of these individuals. Now, when you think about so many ex-governors, so many ex-senators, so many ex-public officials that have at one time or the other been accused of various things, the question remains, those who are now part of the ruling government, how many of their cases are still in various courts? How many of them have been extended and no justice has been served? And so this potpourri of just choosing and selecting who to prosecute, who not to prosecute, who to investigate, who not to investigate, smacks of political intervention in the affairs of regulatory organs that should be free, fair, equitable, and transparent. They should do their jobs. We commend them for doing their jobs, but we need to understand the motives behind this. And you see, you have to understand the fact that as long as the heads of these agencies are selected by whoever is in power, then you can always suspect that there will be a motive for their actions.
All right.
And unfortunately, Nigerians are watching it, and that's what Nigerians believe. And this is merely repeating what Nigerians are saying as a clear case of politically motivated investigations into people that were not done 2 years ago when they first left office, and suddenly they've taken interest now that they have publicly avowed their interest to be part of this coalition that Nigerians are building together.
All right, thank you so much. Let me bring Jide Johnson into the conversation. Do you think that, this issue that we're seeing right now with some members of the coalition under the ADC being invited, some of them even retained by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Should it be about the objective of this as regards, in relation to the timing, or do you just think that these agencies are just doing their job?
Yeah, if you are not careful and you have a thorough analysis of the way EFCC has conducted itself over the years, you will engage in whataboutism. I don't want to engage in whataboutism. Why did they not pick this? Why did they not pick that? Why is it that some certain group of individuals are those that are picked? I want to focus on the reason why EFCC was established. And as far as I'm concerned, EFCC was established to prevent corruption from happening, not to fight corruption. There are two things in dealing with crime. You have crime prevention and fighting crime. And what we have seen is that even with the establishment of the Economic Financial Crimes Commission, we have not been able to stop people putting their hand, whether it's PDP administration, whether it's APC administration, whether it's Obasanjo that is the president, or Yar'Adua, or Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, or Buhari, or even the present president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have not been able to put some safety nets, some checks and balances that prevent individuals. Now, let's just put it in perspective. Let's say it's hypothetical. The outcome that EFCC as an institution existed within the system, and one individual is able to help himself, just one with close to 190-something billion naira. Now, if he succeeded in doing that, that means that the loophole is still there. That means that the person that took over for him is also exploiting the loopholes. These are the areas we should be looking at. What are the measures? What are the measures or the safety nets that will put in place that will ensure that this agency will ensure we make sure that corruption does not happen in this country? Beyond that, every action of EFCC, with the exception from inception, when the present National Security Advisor was the chairman of EFCC, tell me any conviction that EFCC has secured since establishment against a former governor. Tell me, how many convictions have we had? What we see is media trial, arrest, and media trial, and then before you know it, the case goes to court. At the end of the day, there's nothing to show for it. So people will term whatever their actions to be political. It seems as if those that have headed EFCC are watching the body language of whoever appointed them, and they are working in tandem with the interpretation of the body language of whoever appointed them.
Mr. Jide Johnson, I mean, you've made quite a number of, you've made some points, but some would also say, yes, as much as it's within the purview of the EFCC to go after, perceived corruption cases. For some Nigerians, they might be asking, why this time for this sets of persons? Some of them might have left office for years. Why were they not picked up? Why were they not invited? Why now, when maybe their names again, seems to come up on the political radar? I mean, what would be your response to individuals like that?
It's open to different interpretation, and you play into, that's what I was trying to explain. You play into the hands of the opposition when you take action such as this, whereby there's no firm approach towards dealing with this issue without fear or favor, without looking at which of the political jersey you are putting on, whether it is jersey of APC, or it is jersey of ADC, or it is jersey of PDP. So people will subject to that interpretation, and you play into that narrative when you are not being fair, when you are not being. You said something earlier. Justice delayed is justice denied. When you are not quick to taking this action, and what are the measures that you have put in place to address this issue, other than to invite people, detain them for 2-3 days, and then you release them? Even before you detain them, you parade them before the media, and then you engage in media trial. Is it to justify that you are working or you are not working? These are what I'm saying, that sometimes people that have been appointed into the office of EFCC chairman, they look at the body language of whoever appointed them, and they tend to work in that direction. And I just want to counsel the present chairman. They have been chairman. What has What is it that has bedeviled the EFCC chairman since inception? Only very few of them live with a clean bill of health. Some of them ran away from this country after their tenure. Some of them, they lose their integrity after their tenure. There was one thing that the ADC chairman said, which he spoke about the process through which we appoint the EFCC chairman or chairperson, the process of somebody that will try corruption. The process, I think we need to depoliticize the process. Probably we take the process to the National Judicial Council, like I've advocated for how we appoint INEC chairman, how we appoint the EFCC chairman. We should take it away from the executive and look for extrajudicial bodies to appoint them.
All right, let me come back to you, Mr. Ashiru. Mr. Ashiru, I mean, as a party member, with what you're seeing right now, I mean, for members of your party and even yourself, does this in any way, dampen, your spirits? Do you feel threatened?
So let's go back to history. So when we were in university and we were confronting the government as students, when we were standing in front of tanks, and when we were told to vacate our hostels with our boxes on our heads, were we feeling threatened? We were fighting for our rights. We were fighting for what was right. And when you're fighting for what is right, you become very strong, very bold, and your conscience, who upholds you and strengthens you. When you're fighting for what is right, you don't have to worry about whether something is good, somebody's going to come after you. Of course, all of us are subject to the Constitution. If we have done something wrong, then we should be asked to answer for it. But then that also goes to those who are sending them. They need to answer for certain things from their past. They need to answer for everything they might have done. It's a matter of time, because one government is in power today, another government will be in power tomorrow, and that government will investigate the previous government. So this tit for tat is not the way we are going to run Nigeria. We're going to run Nigeria with equity, with justice and fairness. And what we are saying is this: stop persecuting people. The issue is persecution. It's not justice. If you are doing justice and it is seen to be justice, everyone will be on your side. I've said something on your channel over and over again. I said anyone can be part of ADC for as long as they have not been convicted of a crime in a court of law, and they have not violated the Constitution in the case that's been proven. So until such a case as occurred, where we have the record that someone being convicted, it is wrong to treat them as though they are criminals and then try to find a way to defame them, to demarket them, to defranchise them and their supporters to be part of the process of building or rebuilding this country, as the case may be. So the question for us is not a question of fear. If we all wanted to save our skin, all of us will be in the ruling party. We'll go and hide there. And then Nigerians will curse us and say, how many of you are standing up to what they perceive as suffering? What they perceive as becoming a one state country, one party state country.
Sorry to interrupt you. You said something now. So you are confident that what we're seeing right now would not spike a situation whereby some members of your party might defect as a result of fear. You seem to be pretty confident about that.
My point is this: anyone who is guilty has a reason to be afraid. Isn't that what the holy books have told us? But the vast majority of Nigerians who are supporting ADC have just come out of a program where there are over 400 people in the hall. All those people have never touched government funds. They are not there. They are not afraid. They've chosen. They've decided where they're going to be at. So picking one person here, two people here, when you have over tens of millions of voters, it's not going to change the direction or the course of the change that Nigerians are looking for. So this is basically my saying that not everybody's going to get intimidated. Look, if it was intimidation, Showore will not be on your program. Everyday arrest and is out there. Don't forget, some of us grew up in the days of Save Nigeria, in the days of Nadeko. We were young in the days when people confronted military, and people were bold and and they were there. And because we are political party people here now, people forget that we once confronted the military. And then we fought for Nigeria to get this democracy which we are supposed to enjoy. The problem now is we are now in that democracy, and we can't even sleep peacefully. So what is the point of all the fight we fought? So what we're saying is this: this is not the time for fear. This is time for faith. This is the time for Nigerians to say, come. This is not what we voted for.
All right.
We want economic justice. We want you to lift people out of poverty, not to be looking for one person here, two people here, and punish them for their political alliances. That has to change. And that's my message to Nigerians.
All right.
To the ballot box to change it so that people...
All right, Mr. George Ashiru, we seem to have a bit of connectivity issues there, but let's bring into the conversation Emmanuel Owunbiko is the National Coordinator of HURIWA. Thank you for your time, and it's great to have you on the program. Now, we know that on this matter, your association actually sort of alleged or accused the EFCC of abandoning its mandate and becoming a tool for the president's or the administration, the current administration, to crush the opposition. I would like you to speak on that. Why do you think, that seems to be the perception now?
Well, the question a lot of Nigerians will ask is, why now? Why do you have to invite the immediate past governor of Sokoto State, who has left office for more than 2 years? You didn't think it wise to invite him then until at this momentous, at this time that coalition is building up against the president's, second term ambition.
We need to go on a break, Emmanuel, but I'm just forced to also ask. You said the question on the lips of many is why now? Is there a better time to fight corruption?
Of course, timing matters. Timing matters a lot. Timing matters a lot because, okay, for instance, if what usually happens in Nigeria is that if you're not on the side of government, they will open your file. You are supposed to know this as a journalist. If you have a problem with a particular, a president, and he wants to deal with you, he has EFCC, he has ICPC to deal with you, he has the police to deal with you. If you have matters or questions to answer, even when you're not guilty of those alleged offenses, they will bring it up at a time that you ought to concentrate on a very, very, very serious matter. Now, those guys in the coalition party are getting ready to face the election in 2027, and bringing up this irritating, distraction of arresting a former governor of Sokoto State, who has been a senator for about 2.5 years. You didn't invite him to make clarifications. They're just inviting him now that the opposition is growing against the president, who is so desperate to get a second term.
All right.
You don't need even a 2-year-old child knows that the EFCC has always been used as an attack dog. It's not today. It's an established.
All right, Emmanuel. All right, Emmanuel Owunbiko. We really need to go on a quick break. When we return, we'll definitely dwell more on this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guest with me. George Ashiru is the Lagos State Chairman of the ADC. Emmanuel Owunbiko is the National Coordinator of HURIWA, and also Jide Johnson, a Public Affairs Analyst. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Jide Johnson, let me come to you, sir. Let's talk about the coalition itself and the ADC. I mean, this is not the first time we are seeing this kind of political formation in Nigeria's political history. But there are questions around its makeup, particularly when it comes to some individuals within the coalition. What's your take?
There was an attempt to have a coalition in 1982-83 against the then Shagari administration by the Progressive People's Alliance, PPA, to wrest power from the NPN, then from Shagari from winning second term. However, because of the larger political interest of the Progressive Party Alliance, of the various leaders of the Progressive, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo, and the rest of them, they were not able to reconcile their differences, and so the PPA did not see the light of the day. My challenge from my readings, I might be wrong, but 24 hours is too long in politics, but my readings, and 2027 is still quite a distance, but my readings from the ADC coalition is that there are too many gladiators who are not ready to sacrifice their personal ambition for the interest of their coalition, like the APC did in 2013, 2014, when some had to bury their presidential ambition. People like Saraki and the rest of them buried their presidential ambition, and those that lost the primary against Buhari also work in tandem with Buhari for them to wrestle power from the PDP. You could see that to a large extent that Atiku is running his race, or Peter Obi is running his race, and from nowhere, all of a sudden, Rotimi Amechi discovered his voice and he's been ventilating left, right, and center. And so if they are not able to put their house in order, if they are not able to bury their ego and to sacrifice their personal ambition, I can assure you that it will be a home run for the APC in 2027 election. But like I said in politics,
let me pick it from there. Sorry, Mr. Johnson. You said it's if they are not able to tidy up internally, the APC is going to get a home run in 2027. I'd like to bring in George Ashiru to respond to this, particularly with some speculation that, look, this coalition seems to be DOA, dead on arrival, given the quality of political gladiators involved, who seem to be more invested in pursuing personal political ambition as against the collective good or even party loyalty.
Well, my answer to all of that is that in just 2-3 days, I have been to various local governments to receive people coming into ADC to affirm their listening to ADC. And a lot of these people are not even talking about these so-called political gladiators. A lot of negotiants that I'm coming across are not even bothered about the federal elections. A lot of them are still focused on the states, who's going to be our governor, who's going to be our House of Rep, who's going to be a member of the Senate. They know that it is what concerns them that they are now interested in fighting for, not the ephemeral positions of the presidency. That is why the biggest mistake is to focus on the gladiators at the top and forget about the troops taking territory on the ground. And I think that's going to be an error that will be made by those who are using the idea that there are very strong personalities who are coming together at Abuja to not see the momentum building from the ground. You see, and the momentum building from the ground is going to show the direction of the presidency. It's going to tell whoever is at the top that, look, this is what the people want. And they are going to step aside for each other. Or they're going to run in the various primaries, and they will come to the conclusion that this is what Nigerians want. And I think this is the organic side of politics that's unusual, that I keep telling now everyone that ADC is standing on. It's not just a matter of people coming together to grab power. It's not just people who are ambitious coming together. It's because they are forced to come together because of the cry of the average Nigerian. When people tell you, what are you going to do about our matter? What are you going to do? And they get confused. They say, well, the only thing I can do is let me go and talk to my colleagues. And the conclusion was, we need to coalesce so that we can solve this problem. It is a bottoms-up movement. Don't make the mistake that people made in 2023 when they were caught by surprise in Lagos by the votes that went in the presidential election. A lot more will happen this time around. While we are focusing in one area, and by the way, you don't even know whether these people already have that conversation and they know what to do about it. We enjoy the fact that people are busy thinking of what's happening between the gladiators, and they are forgetting the thousands and thousands of people that are registering at the grassroots level that we at the state level we are receiving. I just said to you now, I just left the program today in Jaw, where hundreds of people are gathered in the hall, and another one yesterday in Koshofe. So we have a momentum driven by the people.
Mr. George Ashiru, I'm still going to come back to you as regards some of the internal workings within the ADC and some concerns. But let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll definitely pick up the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guests with me. Let me come to you, Mr. Emmanuel. Mr. Emmanuel, just a quick one. Let's talk about some dynamics around the coalition. There is the talk about the presidency being, in terms of rotation, to a certain region of the country, saying that, look, it's time for the South, even though it's an, a non-binding agreement. And then there are talks around certain gladiators, who is to stand down for who and the dynamics around it. I'm talking of the person of Peter Obi, Nigeria's former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and also rumors that Nigeria's former President Goodluck Jonathan might join the race. What do you make of what we are seeing?
Well, on the issue of maybe you can use that word rotational presidency, in as much as you want to argue that there is no law that stipulates that the office of President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria should rotate among the different zones of the country, geopolitical zones of the country. But it is important that every segment of the Nigerian society have a sense of belonging. It is important that no single section of the country should dominate the position of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So rotating the presidency, in as much as it is not legally stated, I can put it this way: it is much more superior than just mere legality. It is important that you have that regional presidency, and 2027 is still the turn of the South. There's no doubt about that.
So do you think Nigeria's former vice president, that is Atiku Abubakar, do you think he should, run, even though he's entitled to? Should he choose to?
Well, if Atiku shows a lot of desperation, like the way Tinubu is very desperate. Tinubu wants second term by all means. Tinubu had just spent 2 years in office. He has 2 more years to go, and already campaigns have started, even when such practices are not allowed under the law. You have his posters all over the place in the country. He's already campaigning for 2027. So the president is very desperate. So the article doesn't have to be as desperate as the president if they really want to change the status quo. But if Atiku insists on running, particularly if Atiku makes good the speculation that he is the power behind the coalition, then I think they are making it much easier for Tinubu to get a second term. So it is important that Atiku shouldn't run, in as much as he has the right to run. But if they have a program to unseat this incompetent president that is in power, I'm talking of the current president. If they want to unseat him, the only way to unseat him is for them to unify and bring out one candidate that is strong enough to win the election.
All right, thank you so much.
Not minding whether the person is Igbo, whether the person is Muslim, whether the person is a Christian. It's a question of is a future of the country that we're talking about now. The country is almost collapsing.
All right, thank you so much, Emmanuel. Thank you. I would like to pick up from your point where you said it's imperative that certain candidates or a candidate is picked from the South, and I'll be directing my question to you, Mr. George Ashiru, the Lagos State Chairman of the ADC. I mean, there's a lot of talks around who eventually, how an agreement is going to be, who eventually, takes the ticket for as the party's flag bearer in 2027. First, I would also like you to confirm there are rumors that Nigeria's former president, Goodluck Jonathan, might be joining the coalition. Can you substantiate that to the best of your knowledge? Also, the reason why Atiku is yet to formally pick up the party's membership card. There are also, talks that maybe he's waiting for certain persons to join first, or even to be sure that he becomes the party's flag bearer. So I'd like you to speak on all of these dynamics and maybe put clarity to it as an official of the party.
All right, thank you very much. You've asked a lot of questions. I hope I remember them in order that you asked them. But let me just randomly answer the questions. Number one, this party does not believe, and I'm sure you've not heard anyone from Abuja states that a particular candidate is going to be chosen the party has constantly said everyone who wants to run for office can freely go for the primaries, and whoever wins, wins. So this talk of whether it's going to be Atiku, whether it's going to be extremely premature, it presumes that the party is not a democratic institution. And the name of the party is African Democratic Congress. The word democratic is right there. So the people are going to pick whoever is going to be the presidential candidate, governorship candidate, senatorial, House of Rep, and State Houses of Assembly during the primaries. And whosoever Nigerians speak from the 36 states and Abuja will represent the party in all of those places. And that's the answer, a permanent answer you're going to get from the party officials regarding that. So speculation about whether the party is going to fill this person, fill that person, is presuming there's no primaries. There will be primaries. President Goodluck Jonathan is welcome to join ADC. As you have said, it's a rumor. A rumor is rumor. We don't work with rumors for now. When he then joins, we will celebrate him as well as we have celebrated so many others. And
but are those feelers, are they true? Has he been approached? Has he approached the party?
Like I said, they are rumors. Once they are rumors, you cannot speak on behalf of someone. The person has a right to speak for themselves and to say they are joining, they are not joining. So I cannot speak on behalf of a third party to substantiate what is obviously a rumor. But it would be great for him to join us, and I'm quite sure that the leaders of our party, they are speaking to every Nigerian leader known, because they want the word coalition to be all-encompassing, all-involving. There's no point picking some people and then not going to others. So consultation is going on. Just like in Lagos, we are consulting with every known leader to say, let us come together to work to save the negotiations from the idea that there's only one way to govern. And so that's going on. And I'll be very glad to be one of those that will have a handshake again after the one I had in 2014 at the presidential villa with now ex-president Goodluck Jonathan. So then I'm trying to remember the other questions you asked.
We'll come back to that.
It's something to do.
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. But let me go to Jide Johnson. Jide Johnson, Peter Obi did spike, a conversation around term in office, where he said that should he be given that opportunity, he would just want a single term. And the question as regards, could this just be a political statement, or how feasible this is? So I want to put it to you, a single term in office, how feasible is it in a country like Nigeria? 4 years, is that enough to, really prove yourself as a leader?
I'm sure, regrettably, Peter Obi will be regretting saying that statement, because a lot of people that really loved him were taken aback by that position, which many interpreted to be a sign of desperation, because nothing essentially can be done within four years period of a single term in Nigeria. What time, even as we speak, the president is on his second year. He's gone past the second year of his administration. Ambassadors are still not in place. There are so many offices that have not been filled. So it's democracy is not a military administration where you rule by fiat. And so talking about running and ruling for one term, for me, is interpreted as desperation. The Constitution makes a provision for you to seek re-election, and if you really believe in your values and your principles, you should run on that basis. You shouldn't show any sign of desperation. I just want to quickly respond to what the ADC chairman said concerning the primaries and the party owning the party. In Nigeria, there is no party supremacy. The party does not belong to the grassroots, except we want to deceive ourselves. And that's one of the major problems we are having with the present political arrangement. Power does not come from the people. Power comes from the top. It comes from those that finances the party. And the financier of the party are the gladiators you see in Abuja. We knew anything about ADC.
Mr. Jide Johnson, are you talking about, are you talking about the reality of the Nigerian politics, or the ideal political system?
Politics is the reality of Nigerian politics. ADC became the toast of town as a result of the gladiators looking for a platform through which they will run the election. And I can assure my brother, if he's one of the things the gladiators in Abuja will come for is a seat. It's just a matter of time. When they do their convention, what the political class, what they do is to hijack the structure, because from the state, from the state to the local government, because that's where the delegates are going to come from. We know it. There's no need to make pretensions about the intentions and the actions of these political gladiators, and that's why many people have called for us to have a reform system, a reform electoral system, whereby power automatically comes from the grassroots, not from the people at the center. Can you imagine, based on what we have and operate as a party system, the person that will run for an election in the state, his nomination will come from the national chairman. Whereas the national chairman of the party belongs to a ward. Not even a ward, it belongs to a unit, because it votes in a unit in a ward. A unit is the smallest political entity in a ward. Now, it belongs to it, but it controls everything from Abuja. So the House of Assembly...
All right, Jide Johnson, thank you so much. We really need to go on a quick break. When we return, I'll be giving Mr. George Ashiru the opportunity to respond to some of the things that Jide Johnson has pointed. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guest with me. George Ashiru is the Lagos State Chairman of the ADC. Emmanuel Owunbiko is the National Coordinator of HURIWA, and also Jide Johnson, Public Affairs Analyst. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. Just before we go, 30 seconds. Mr. George, how would you like to respond to some of the things Jide has pointed out? But you know, more importantly, I would like you to respond in 30 seconds. What the ADC will be doing in the coming weeks, you know, aside just speaking on this matter as regards the activities of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, you know, in tandem with some politicians that are linked with your party. Mr. George, the question is for you.
It was a bit muffled, and I was getting some feedback, and so your question was not very clear to me. But I will use the opportunity to say that let us even veer away from the subject of EFCC. When this coalition, the idea of the coalition came together, some of us state chairmen were part of the team that championed the idea of coalition. And we worked to make it happen. And we saw it happen. And we are glad that it happened. And we have so many gladiators. And part of the understanding, and all these gladiators will have a seat on the table. So having a seat on the table means that if your seat is chairman, you are chairman. So nobody's coming after your seat. This is part of the understanding of what a coalition exists for. It means that, look, this is some of the things we have. It's an understanding and arrangement, how everybody feels involved in it. And so that protects everyone in terms of where they are. And this is so that Nigerians will understand that this idea of Russian roulette, you know, is not the intention of the coalition. Now, we also know, yes, that people who are, you know, planning to run for offices might want to influence things here and there. The question we ask ourselves in ADC, and I ask myself is this arrangement going to produce results in the general election? If it's going to produce results in the general election, I will not resist it. But if it's not going to produce results in the general election, then we will continue to fight for what is right and what is ideal, even within the party itself. So the critical thing we have to remember that is one thing to seek power, but it's another thing to seek service. And I, for example, as chairman in Lagos State, I've always said it. Every time the ADC has meetings, net meetings, summit, I'm always invited to speak, where I share this idea that transformational politics is what Nigerians need to win the next election. Traditional politics cannot win against traditional politics. And as long as we play transformational politics where the people are given the opportunity, there's nobody financing us in Lagos, for instance. There's no individual that rise up and said, I'm paying for the office, or I'm giving you car, or I'm paying you for oil. Not a single individual.
So sorry, just quickly, sir. So how does the party finance itself in Lagos? We
finance it ourselves. I'm its chairman. I contribute to the party. Other people in the party contribute to the party. That is how we run. That's why we have been running the party. That's the reason when people came into the party, they respected the fact that, wow, you people have been using your resources to keep this party afloat for 19 years without winning presidency. And they respected that.
All right.
So I think one of the key things is we have to ask ourselves, why do people choose ADC? It's something they saw inside of how we run the party. And that is what we need to see, let Nigerians also see.
All right.
My brother, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure having you on the program. George Ashiru, Lagos State Chairman of the ADC. Emmanuel Owunbiko is the National Coordinator of HURIWA, and also Jide Johnson, a Public Affairs Analyst. It's been a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you for your time. Well, this, of course, is where we call it quits on today's episode. In case you missed out, you can actually catch up on our YouTube platform. That's at News Central TV. You can also choose to follow us on social media. The handle is there on your screen. You can choose to follow me personally at Dakpo, at Degboye. Until I come your way tomorrow, good night.